I don't know when I began to believe in God. Maybe it was the first night I heard the crying inside an abandoned church. It wasn't human. It echoed like wind blowing through bones. I stepped in. The candles died. The air smelled of old blood and burnt incense. They say where there is no light, demons rule. But I discovered something else. Sometimes, even darkness prays. It whispers words no one can understand, words only God can hear. And I wondered, if demons know how to kneel, do humans still deserve salvation? That night, I saw a figure standing before the altar. It had no face, no skin, just a body half burned by unseen fire. It spoke with the voice of 1,000 souls. You came seeking God. He's no longer here. He abandoned mankind and left behind only broken dreams. I asked who it was. It answered, the one they once called light. Then I understood he was the first to fall, not because he betrayed, but because he loved too much. As I knelt, the fire around him rose high, yet it did not burn me. I felt a strange warmth, like God's hand on my shoulder, and at that same moment, I heard the demon's laughter echo in my heart. Since that night, I no longer know whom I pray to God, or the darkness within me. I always believed guidance was a gentle light, a soft glow at the edge of my vision, leading me home. That's what they taught us, wasn't it? Follow the light. But lately, when I drift into sleep, it's not a light that finds me. It's a whisper, a dry rustle of words that don't belong to me, slithering into my dreams. I'd wake up, heart hammering against my ribs, the echo of it still clinging to the silence of my room. A promise, or a threat. I could never tell. The whispers didn't stay in my sleep for long. Soon, they were everywhere. A distorted echo of my own voice, thrown back at me from a mirror. A murmur carried on the wind as I walked down an empty street, making me look over my shoulder at nothing. The beautiful sound of church bells ringing in the distance would suddenly be punctuated by a faint, chilling laughter that only I seemed to hear. I tried to pray, to push it all back with faith. I'd close my eyes and call out for light, for clarity. But the reply wasn't silence anymore. It was a defiant, gravelly voice in my own head, answering my plea with a single, mocking word. Why? It felt like the world had turned itself inside out. The sun would cast long, unnatural shadows that seemed to crawl and writhe. On the streets, I started seeing them, silent figures in drab coats, their faces hidden behind smooth, blank porcelain masks. They just wandered, these seekers, as if searching for a question they'd long forgotten. They never spoke, never looked at me, but I could feel their hollow presence. One afternoon, a little girl in a bright red cardigan stopped in front of me. She looked up with wide, innocent eyes and asked, "Mister, is God crying?" Her question shattered the fragile peace I was clinging to. And then, I understood. It wasn't a battle between a distant heaven and a far-off hell. It was all happening right here, in the same space. I saw it then, a room with two doors. One bathed in blinding light, the other shrouded in an impenetrable dark. But there was no key, no handle on the outside. Heaven and hell, I realized, share the same room. And the door has always been locked from within. We choose which way to face. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this story resonated with you, consider liking and subscribing for more reflections. Stay thoughtful. I stopped praying. Not because I lost faith, but because I feared what might answer. One night, I dreamed of a room filled with mirrors. Each mirror reflected a different version of me, one praying, one crying, one laughing, and one staring at me with the eyes of someone who already knew everything. I asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "I am the prayer you never dared to speak." Then the mirrors cracked. From the cracks, blood began to flow. Not human blood. It was black, thick, and smelled like burnt incense. Whispers filled the room. "You beg for forgiveness, but you don't understand. God is not above you. He lives within your mistakes." The door opened, and blinding light poured in. I fell to my knees, thinking it was God. But from the light came a hand with long nails and torn flesh. It touched my forehead, and I saw every sin of humankind rushing into me. Forgotten prayers, souls that died in silence, and among them, I saw him, God, sitting in a sea of white bones, his face no longer radiant, but sorrowful. He looked at me. No words, no judgment. Just a single tear. And when it hit the ground, the demons laughed. I awoke. My hand still bore the mark of the burn, and a voice echoed inside my head. The day God opens his eyes, no one will dare to pray again.